Welcome to the Panic Button. I'm Nina, and Jubilee posted a video today called Do All Lesbians Think the Same? As a lesbian, I'm curious if we do. Though I doubt we do. Ready? Go. 2, 1. Wait.
Scissoring is a real thing.
It is a real thing, but I'm not really down with it. It's awkward. It's just not for me.
I have fallen for a straight best friend.
No, I have never fallen for a straight best friend. Why? Because if I knew my best friend was straight, I would never allow myself to think that way about my best friend. You know, a lot of girls, they'll say, well, I couldn't help it. I just fell in love. No, you can help it. You can. You can help it. You can. I've done it. So I have a feeling they're going to say this too. Oh, well, that's good. Most of them strongly disagree.
Depending on who watches
That's good.
I mean, okay, depending on who watches this person might already know or might not know.
I think I just saw a man in there. Sorry. There's a man in there who's a trans woman saying that he's a lesbian. First of all, I'm not surprised that Jubilee did that because they seem like the too woke. You know, where you're so woke, you're a detriment to the thing that you are trying to support. It makes me mad. Makes me very mad. Ugh.
And might already know or might not know. You can't help who you fall in love with. I think that's clear. We all know that we already.
Didn't I tell you they were gonna freaking say that you can't help who you fall in love with? Come on, dude. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can. Listen, a lot of people are gonna say that they've fallen in love. There's a big difference between being in love with someone and being infatuated with someone. And a lot of women and men think that they fell in love with someone when really they were just obsessed and infatuated with them. And you can tell by how they act and obsessively think about that person. That's not in love. These stupid people think that's love. It's not love. Ugh. It's not love. So when they say that you can't help who you fall in love with, yes, you can. Damn. Get a clue.
I think that's clear. We all know that we already have attractions. That was my problem, was knowing but not being able to tell anyone or doing anything about it. So like literally going home every night crying and like, why am I like this? How can I change? But especially growing up in a small town where there's really no queer people. So
I also find it very interesting that the only two wearing the dresses is the trans woman, the man, and the feminine lesbian. I get the feminine lesbian thing, but if you were to ask me, there's going to be a trans woman in this episode, I'd say they're probably dressed the most feminine out of all of them, except for the feminine lesbian. Not that I have a problem with this trans woman as an individual, because I don't know this person. I do think it's that they're putting a trans woman in here and saying that this is a lesbian, because there's no way in a real lesbian would ever date a trans woman. It would never happen. Just like a straight man won't get by another man, lesbians don't want. Get it through your heads. And for those of you who know, thank you. Spread the word.
I had a lot of internalized homophobia, and all my friends were always queer growing up since like elementary school. So for me, I think I never gave myself that opportunity to like fall for a straight girl.
When I was in elementary school, none of my friends were quote unquote queer, because queer was a slur, just like cis.
A lot of my women best friends are queer or ended up coming out. I've lost a lot of friends for coming out. Because it's like, oh, like Kaylee, she's a lesbian, she likes me. No, that's not how it is. My very attractive best friends that are just my friends and we're like this, you know? And that's just how I am.
Yeah, see, that's a big difference between lesbians having straight friends and men having straight female friends. See, lesbians can have straight female friends and not be in love or want to f them. We don't have a brain. We don't have that mind that says, I want to everything that moves that has a vagina. We don't have that brain. So we can look at our attractive best friend and be like, yes, she's attractive. But that's it. That's as far as it goes. And any woman who says she's a lesbian who does this, who will fall in love with her best friend even though she knows she's straight, she's got something going on there. She's got something going on there.
Scissoring is a real thing.
Scissoring. It's not what you think.
A rebrand. Yeah. It's like see it to believe it. I've done it, so I believe that it is real.
I think I'm gonna switch because I've personally only been with 2 people being queer. My first experience with the first person was very.
She said she's queer. So she doesn't belong here either. They're saying lesbians. A lesbian is not a queer woman. Queer is a slur. You can't be. It's like there's LGBTQ. So what? You got 2 letters in our acronym now? Listen, take the Q out to begin with because I don't buy the bullshit. If she's queer, she needs to get the out. Get out. You don't deserve to be here either because you're not a freaking lesbian. What is it? How many real lesbians are actually in this thing?
No, it's real because I have done it, but just not my thing.
Okay, then I can't listen to you either.
I think it's real. I certainly think it's not for everybody.
Thank you.
But I also certainly think it's a trial and error. Like, you have to practice.
Had sex with a man.
What do you think they're going to say? Now, for me, no, never. For them, I'm going to say that majority of them have had sex with a man. Majority. Maybe one hasn't. It might be the trans woman.
Damn it.
Oh, I was wrong.
There's no middle ground.
We got some.
Oh, no, I was right.
Yes or no,
Like,
right?
maybe it happened.
We have some gold stars. Okay.
We got gold stars.
Like, what do you mean?
I mean, no, agree. I wasn't saying that like, oh, congrats to us, because there are lesbians who are like, oh, I will only date like people gold stars. But I'm not saying like gold stars are better than not. It's just a term in my mind. That's what I was like referring to when I said that.
Yeah, no, it happened, you know? I was in high school, you know, you live and you learn. I tried multiple times, and I was like, something ain't clicking. Like, isn't sex supposed to be amazing? And then I had it with women, and I was like, oh, got it.
Funny that you said that because I feel like the first time I had sex was the first time I had sex with a woman. I came out when I was 29 and I was about to be engaged to a man. And so I was at the point where I had to be real with myself and really had to be like, if I don't come out now, I'm gonna be 50 with a child and married, coming out. I have had sex with men. I was straight for 29 years, but I always knew I was gay. But yeah, so that's why I'm here.
With the wide spectrum of what people consider sex is, I had my fair share of experiments with men. I had thought I was asexual because I didn't have any romantic attraction to men. I felt forced to engage in certain activities to fit in with my friends, my cis friends around me.
How are you forced? How do you think you're forced? Like, I hate when people say this. Well, I felt like I was forced into doing things I didn't want to do. That makes sense when you're a kid. It makes sense when you're a kid. But when you're a grown adult, you have the ability to make decisions for yourself. So when you make this excuse of I felt like I was forced, makes sense when you're a kid, but when you're an adult, that's just an excuse. And that's also another reason. First of all, her for saying cis. Second of all, don't I say all the time? Don't I always mention the fact that having girlfriends, girls who are friends, can be a detriment to a woman who's trying to, quote unquote, find herself? Because then she feels like she's pressured to fit in. My point exactly.
It just happens, and if you're not growing up with homosexuality being normalized, you're kind of just forced into it.
I dated men through college. I still don't consider myself like full on the Kinsey scale or whatever.
Why are they freaking in here? Am I done with? What the fuck? These are lesbians! What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? These are lesbians. Christ. I'm really curious how many real lesbians are actually here in this room. Wow, Jubilee. Yourself. Wow. Fuck you, Jubilee.
Whatever, fully lesbian. I'm still attracted to men, but I was super Christian, and so I just was not doing sexy things at all, which is a bummer. I like wish I would have had sex with men. It's gone now, ring on the finger, I'm moving forward. I don't know, sounds like it's not all cracked up to be from over there, I don't know.
You know, when I was younger, I thought like you had to wait till you're married to have sex, and then when I realized that's not a thing, I just was like, oh, I really just don't like men, what do I do? And then I just like pushed it aside, all that stuff. So I mean, there is a part of me that's like, wow, I'm like, I really will never have sex with a man, so I don't know.
Yeah, like I've just always had friends and it's never been more than that.
It's a little silly that like I'm standing on this line and imagining the comments already of people being like, well, how do you know that you're lesbian if you didn't try it with a guy?
They can shut up.
And I'm like,
Respectfully, they can shut up.
Well, how do you know that you're straight if you haven't f***ed a woman or haven't f***ed a guy? It's the most stupid logic ever. And when people use it, it just makes me realize how stupid they actually are. Not very intelligent.
I would never ask a straight person that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I always tell people to try it if they want, but
I
I
mean,
mean,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bad influence.
Gay men are more privileged than lesbians.
Are gay men more privileged than lesbians? No. I don't see them as having anything more than we have. Especially now. I think we're the lowest on the totem pole as far as the LGBTQIA is concerned. I mean, there's no one on the Pride Council who is gay or lesbian, as far as I know. So.
Women being on the queer spectrum at all is like less legitimate to some people than like men saying that they're on the queer spectrum at all. A lot of people refer to me or other women in my life as like, it's a phase. Oh, you'll get over it, it's a phase. But like, I don't really see that happening with men. If they're gay or whatever, everyone's like, they're gay, which I think is a privilege.
Like, I can't even tell you how many times I've been with my partner, and like, oh, that's your friend? By my own parents. Oh, how your friend doing? You seen us holding hands. What do you mean, how's my friend doing? You know I don't do this with my friends.
I've known people where it's like, oh, I'll tell my kids about lesbians, but not gay men. Like they can't see that because for a lot of men, they fetishize lesbians in a way, so it's more approachable for them. Gay men, they're like, oh no, like, you know, like the F slur, all that stuff. Like.
And why is it that it's easier for men to approach quote unquote lesbians? It's because most lesbians are like this. With the exception of overalls and the tomboy here, everyone else has had sex with men, are on the spectrum, meaning they're not lesbians. They're queer, whatever the that means. So obviously, yeah. I don't wonder why straight men go for lesbians, because most of the time, they're not. I mean, this title alone says lesbians. Do all lesbians think the same? And you have a room full of, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there another one in there? 7 or 8. You only have 2 that are real lesbians, and the rest have men or are men. Surprise, surprise. No fucking wonder straight men don't believe us when we say we're lesbians because of people like this.
It is easier to come out as a lesbian to some people based on society's like fetishizers and stuff.
For my culture and my experience, it's a little bit different because a woman being with another woman and like a man not being present is kind of just fed into like the machismo in my culture. So that's why I would strongly agree.
Lesbianism has always been not only fetishized but romanticized. People get to cherry pick what part of queer culture they want. Cis women kissing each other at parties and, oh, that's so cool, that's so ha, quirky.
Every time they say cis, I think chomo. The word cis. Look up where it came from. Look up the person it came from. And then you'll know why I hate that word.
I have damaged relationships with my loved ones because of my sexuality.
Okay, that's enough for me. I think I've been triggered enough here. This is why I'm not friends with anyone on the left. Man. Oh, man. I mean, I'm sure there are good people on the left, but for the most part, the hypocrisy is just ridiculous. And the fact that this is the video is titled "Do All Lesbians Think the Same?" and there's only 2 real lesbians in this whole panel. It's ridiculous, yet not surprising. Like and subscribe. And feel free to donate to our channel, because we're poor as